Natural hair has gained popularity in the black community in recent years, and for decades, many black women looked to harsh chemicals to straighten their hair. But these days, an increasing number of black women are opting out of the chemical use to favor a more natural approach to hair care. That's why on Community Reports this week, we're looking at the beauty of natural hair. So if you have natural hair on or you're thinking of transitioning, well, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the show together. I'm Victoria Ido. Welcome to Community Report on Channels Television. A lady's hair has for a long time been used to indicate a woman's health status and her social position. Long hair has also been associated with youthfulness, but then the issue of whether or not it is permed or natural became a factor. Growing up, every girl wanted the smooth long hair which was easy to comb and managed. But in recent times, a lot has changed. More black women now want to carry their natural hair on the runway, at parties, and even to the workplace.
You need to know the type of hair that you have, and then you need to know the kind of products that work for your hair, okay? I have more experience with the African hair, so I can give some good information on that, For the African hair, I just want to start straight up by saying perhaps we should not be relaxing our hair at all. Think about it. What's the genesis of all this applying chemicals to the hair? Because you want your hair to be straight like that of a Caucasian. So people complain, they say the hair is too thick and they feel it can easily be handled if it is relaxed. But then when you look at it, you relax the hair, you somewhat change the chemical structure. And when you feel a relaxed hair, even within your hands, you realize that it's lighter, it's more friable, it's more likely to break when you compare it with the natural thick hair. The good thing I'm happy with is that some of our hairdressers here, professional hairdressers, I must say, here in Nigeria, in Lagos, we are partners with a couple of them. They have developed products that can help to manage natural hair, the natural African hair. So I encourage you to patronize these hairdressers so that we can use the natural products that will work for African hair. I am totally against relaxing of hair. I don't feel it helps in any way. I believe don't spend so much money to be like a different race. Rather, preserve what you have. Be unique with the African hair. We need that. We need to preserve that. I think it's part of our culture, and we should encourage every lady, every man out there to preserve the African hair.
A 2018 report from Mintel reveals that black women are most likely to wear their natural hair. According to the data, a whopping 40% of these women have turned to both chemical-free and non-heat styling, while an additional 33% of black women still prefer heat styling, but have cut out all chemicals.
If my hair is not in this natural state, like this length or anything, I'm either locking the hair or I'm cutting the hair. Because, from the little we know, like I've had few friends, especially one that, told me that she's dealt so much with fibroid, and one of the things that she was told to stay away from was chemicals. So, chemicals, when you're doing chemicals, we can't really avoid it in Nigeria because everything is laced with some form of chemical or the other. But the one that you can actually control, which is a relaxer, and what you put into your mouth, this is what she started from. So she was advised to stop relaxing her hair. And these are doctors, not Nigerian doctors mostly. And even we have Nigerian doctors screaming and telling us to stop relaxing our hair.
Since that time, a lot more women have joined this community of people who carry their God-given natural hair.
Relaxer was spoiling my hair. I realized that it was getting thinner and it was no longer full. So I decided to cut it, since that was destroying the hair.
You have this special treatment when you have natural hairs on. Like when people see it, when you're on Afro, they're like, is that your hair? It's so nice, and you feel so special about it. That's one. And two, you won't really go through the stress of having pains.
This has over the years led to the rise of natural hairstylists, professionals who cater to the delicate needs of natural hair.
let their guard down. They just want to just...
The hair that comes out of your body is based on how healthy your body is, and the way you take care and handle your hair to determines how long your hair will grow. Taking care of your hair includes when you comb it or when you brush it. It includes kind of treatments that you do, kind of treatments that you need at every point in time. Basically, that's how you keep your hair to be long. The daily maintenance, what you do to your hair every day. Do you moisturize? Do you keep the hair in a good condition for it to grow?
Back in the days, every child looked forward to having their hair permed. Having to change that narrative requires a change of thinking. The beauty of the black natural hair can be enhanced with different styles.
The thing is, we were born with natural hair, so why should it be such a struggle? And for me, what I have realized is that essentially it's because growing up, most of us grew up with relaxed hair. So we have this mindset of our hair has to be relaxed, and that is all we know. So it's trying to address the natural hair with a relaxed hair mindset, and that is why most of us are struggling. So it's really just, changing your mindset and saying, this is how my hair actually grows out of my scalp. How do I need to, take care of it as it is? I tell people you won't wash silk, you won't wash cotton and wool the same way. It's the same way. You will not treat relaxed hair, you will not treat natural hair the same way. Different types of care that you would give to them. So it's just changing the mindset, knowing what works for you, and then just going ahead and doing that.
To carry the natural hair successfully, it's important to understand the types of natural hair that exist.
There's also porosity. We can categorize based on porosity. So there's medium porosity, there's low porosity, and there's high porosity hair. The porosity of your hair is the extent to which it can absorb moisture. So the high porosity hair type, for instance, would absorb moisture very easily, but lose it as easily.
To getting ready for proper styling, we want to make sure all the knots are out, and so that's what we call detangling. So
with the knowledge of the different types of hair, caring and managing becomes easier.
To care for your hair, you have to understand your hair. As, for instance, back to what the example I used, if you're caring for a baby, you have to know the baby's routines. The same way it is for your hair, you have to know what your hair likes. For instance, let me use myself as an example. I have average density, average volume hair. So I know that my hair tends to get dry because my kinks are quite tight. So it tends to get dry very easily. So it absorbs water well, but it tends to lose it easily. So I had to find products that work for my hair. So for instance, the basic thing you need to know about natural hair is you have to, like I said, get your protein moisture balance right. What do? I have a protective style on now. Anytime I take out my hair, when I take the hair out, I wash, I do a protein treatment and deep condition. So the protein will give it strength, deep condition will give it moisture, and then I seal it because the moisture of the deep condition is not going to last for as long as I would want it to last. So I coat it heavily with leave-in conditioner, and then I use sealants. Sometimes it could be as basic as castor oil, sometimes it could be shea butter. Do you understand? So I do that and then put it up in another protective style.
This type of hair texture, there are certain things she needs to do, we need to do as well in order for it to thrive. Precious hair has a certain type of hair texture. It grows as well. Hers grows this way. Precious own grows like this. So you have somebody saying, oh, if only I had Precious fullness. Oh, if only. Another person is like, oh, if only I had the length. Another person is that we actually have customers who want this kind of hair texture because when they twist it stays, it bounces, Her twists look different than this texture when it's twisted. So I want to do that hairstyle. When she does a twist out can last for a long time. Time we do these curls, by the grace of God, 3-4 days. my God, we'll put all this spray, 3-4 days, because once humidity attacks this hair. Meanwhile, when humidity is at,
what you're saying now is, no matter the texture of the hair, each hair has its
own uniqueness, peculiarities. Accept this is what you have on your head.
Most people desire to have long hair, which is of course determined by many factors.
Once you're consistent, you have a regimen, you're consistent with it, then you begin to see that you're retaining length. Because most people say my hair is not growing, but it's not like the hair is not growing. The hair always grows, but it's a function of actually retaining the length that you're actually getting from, the growth in your scalp. So ensure that you're doing the right things, the right techniques, the right products for your hair type and your hair porosity levels. And then genetics also plays a part. So some people are predisposed to much longer length. Some people are born with a lot of volume. So whatever you have, just work with it. Have a simple regimen and just do the right things to your hair, and eat right as well, because what's exactly your food, your nutrition. So you want to get stuff that is very protein, because our hair is made up of protein. So you want to make sure that your food is very healthy. You have a lot of protein, lots of nutrients that is feeding your hair from the inside out. So that always helps as well.
It's one thing to have long natural hair. It's another thing to be able to manage it well without struggle. First things first, water is its best friend.
Well, managing natural hair is a mindset. Yeah, so because most people think that when they go natural, automatically their hair will grow very long overnight. But it requires some form of dedication and commitment. So you need to know that, first of all, water is our friend. Before when we had relaxed hair, we're not washing. You could go for like a month without washing your hair because it was still easy for you to comb or anything. But natural hair will require you adding some form of moisture, water, just to keep it soft, because natural hair tends to dry out quickly and become kind of hard if you don't moisturize it often.
Shampoo is first of all for the scalp before it is for the hair. So that's why we apply the shampoo on the scalp first, massage the scalp, because what we want to do is we want to break off the dirt on the scalp and walk it through while we're also cleaning the hair, and then rinse it out with water.
Also, putting the natural hair in protective styles will help.
Different things. With natural hair, you have the 2-strand twist, you have flat twist, you have the natural hair updos, you have the roller sets, you can even add some extensions if you want to get. Now you have passion twist, you have spring twist, you have crochet. The options they're almost endless. And natural hair is so versatile. You can have it big, you can have it fall, you can have it rolls, you can have it in twist, you can have it pinned, you can have it curled.
When the hair is properly taken care of, it can easily be identified from a mile away.
When you look at good hair, it has this vibrance to it. It has this shine to it. And if you see a person who has a disease, for example, anemia, or a person who is malnourished, not taking enough protein, you notice that the hair looks as if it has been stripped away of its black sheen, and the hair looks like wool. Yeah, that brings me to the next point. When you pass your hands through the hair, and it feels like wool, dry wool or dry rug, it already shows that there's something wrong with the hair. And then when you pass your hands through, and by the time you're taking it off, you can get a chunk out of the hair. It's already a sign telling you that you're shedding a lot of hair. And shedding excessive amount of hair should be one factor that will make you run to your doctor, find out what am I doing wrong, what do I need to correct so that you don't lose all your hair,
Let's talk trimming and its importance.
There's something called splitting. When your tips are splitting, because when there's a split, you can hardly see, except if it's a lot, you hardly see individual splits with your naked eyes. Do you understand? So, but under an analyzer or a trichoscope, for instance, you actually see the split. So what it does is, the hair, it's like a cracked glass. Once there's a crack, if nothing is done to it, the crack goes the entire length of the glassware, the same way it is for hair. Once there's a split, if not properly cared for or nipped, the split runs the entire shaft of the hair. So I support trimming, but not as often as some people make it out. You dust the hair, just take out, just snip a bit, not the way people trim it. You don't, what, if your hair is not badly damaged, why are you cutting off an inch or more? You won't see the length you've recorded because it's not, there are very few people that records as much hair growth, as much as an inch. An average person doesn't even record as much in a month. So why snip that off? Then space out your trimmings, which is why good hair practices, if you do right by your hair, you would even have to trim less. So for me, twice a year is fine.
But then trimming the hair gives some beauty, which is why most ladies are willing to put some scissors every once in a while.
Starts with aesthetics. When your tips are blunt, there's a way it gives life. It makes the hair look healthy, it feels healthy, it gives a bounce to it. So that's one. And secondly, it prevents further splits. So when the splits start to happen, because a lot of split ends are inevitable, because the longer the hair grows, they're getting old and everything, so it's like, so they're inevitable, so you're just trying to nip them so that to prevent them, the splits from running the entire shaft.
Although with a range of styles out there, carrying the natural hair comes with its own challenges.
People complain about how expensive natural hair is because they have to buy products. When you're starting your journey, it's expensive because you'll have to try, oh, I'm trying this and try this, know what works for you.
So if your hair is permed and you're considering transition into natural, this is what you should do.
Some people decide that they don't want to lose their long hair. So they either transition and trim a little every month, and some people are like, I don't want anything, I just want to trim it off. So the people that cut off all their relaxed ends and start, it's easy for them. But those that are transitioning, you're managing two textures. So that's where you actually have, is either you go to a salon to help you, but if you don't have a salon, then you can start with shampoos, like sulfate-free shampoos. These are shampoos that will wash out your hair without stripping off your hair of its natural oils. These shampoos will guarantee that when you're washing your hair, it doesn't feel brittle, it doesn't feel hard to touch. Then you talk about moisturizing shampoos, deep conditioners, just to maintain the balance of a protein or a moisturizing treatment. I know it seems like a mouthful when we're talking about these things, but after a while, everybody gets a hang of it.
The natural hair trend started again as a movement in the United States in 2000. And over the years, natural hair enthusiasts like Kelechi believes more people should be encouraged to stay natural, especially for health reasons.
From the little we know, like I've had few friends, especially one that told me that she's dealt so much with fibroid, and one of the things that she was told to stay away from was chemicals. So, I mean, chemicals, when you're doing chemicals, we can't really avoid it in Nigeria because everything is laced with some form of chemical or the other. But the one that you can actually control, which is a relaxer, and what you put into your mouth, this is what she started from. So she was advised to stop relaxing her hair, and these are doctors, not Nigerian doctors mostly. And if now, even we have Nigerian doctors screaming and telling us to stop relaxing our hair.
Kelechi also believes that children should not be deprived of the ability to choose.
Even if you don't want as an adult to have natural hair, I think our children should be given the chance to make that choice when they get to the point whether they want to be natural or not. And that's why most of us are dealing with hair loss issues now, because we didn't have that information out then. So we're doing anything we wanted with our hair.
It's also important to stop some dangerous hair practices to avoid hair loss.
Traction alopecia, for example, is as a result of tight hairstyles or bonding. Something common to all of this is that the hair has been pulled out from the roots. So when you do a tight hairstyle, even you as a person who is carrying the hair, you feel that it is tight. I see many of my female friends after coming from the salon, the very first evening, some of them cannot sleep. Yeah, some people keep walking around and they keep bam, 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 tapping on the head. It shows you that it's too tight. You have picked them too tight. So when you do this repetitively, you realize that eventually the hair is pulled out. And many of our African ladies, if you check their edges, it's thinned out. Hair bonding, I don't even know why people explore this kind of, I don't know, it's just dangerous, it's hazardous. You apply the glue right to the front so that they can stick a weave on it. And when they want to take the weave out, they just yank everything out and they pull out the hair. very, very dangerous hair practice. It will leave your edges practically zero.
Could see it's with
There is a divide that believes the trend will fade out with time. Considering this is not the first time the trend has been popular, natural hair afro was trendy in the 60s and the 70s.
I think natural hair will stay forever. No. Because as human beings, we are continually evolving. So it's a movement. It's like an orbit. It's raining now. Some people would stick to it because they've been burnt literally and figuratively by relaxers. So, but it's not going to be forever.
And there is the other side that believes the movement has come to stay.
3 out of every 5 black women has fibroids, and it has been linked to the application of chemical relaxers. So more women are becoming aware, of the negative, sides of using certain products in their hair and on their bodies. So it's not really a trend. It's more like an awareness that people are like, oh, you know what? So if I do this, this is what will happen. So I need to stop doing X, Y, Z. So I wouldn't call it a trend. I'll call it more of an awareness, and I think it's here to stay. People are beginning to realize that, you know what? Natural hair is beautiful. It doesn't have to be unprofessional. It doesn't have to be ugly, because those are the words that we used to describe it before. It's ugly, it's unprofessional, it's untidy, but it's beautiful, it's versatile, it can be styled in so many different ways, and it's healthier for your body in the long run.
And I understand that some women like they express themselves by changing their hairstyles. You see somebody that they say, okay, I have to color my hair. This is the mood I'm in. I want this hair looking this way. So you can't box such women in. Someone like me, I live in twists, not twists, this simple styles like this. You can't box such women if they want to express themselves. They should be allowed to express themselves no matter the way, it appears to society, yes.
Running a salon takes having a lot of passion, but then it goes beyond that passion.
You have to know the figures, you have to know the accountants, you have to know managing people is 80% of the work. Managing people too is part of running a business like this. Understanding that the staff is as important. Different staff have different importance. Understanding the duties that everybody does.
Growing there, it's going to be very, very long.
Passion for the job is a required prerequisite that will enhance knowledge.
If you have passion, it's easy to get knowledge. If you have passion, you want to know. It's part of the passion. Knowledge follows after. Of course, you have to get the knowledge. It doesn't, knowledge is continuous. So a customer that is telling you what she doesn't like is a good customer. It's a customer that you should be grateful for, because it's feedback she's giving you, telling you how you can improve on your services.
It's important to note that running a salon is 80% people management. All said, the beauty that radiates from a woman transcends her outward look. So whether it's permed or natural that catches your attention, just let it be a choice that you made yourself. So what have we learned today? Taking care of natural hair requires a lot of commitment. So you have to treat your hair like a baby, care for it, wash your scalp, and gradually allow that hair to bounce back. So if you have permed hair like me and you want to transition, don't forget to either just chop it off or wait it out. For me, I don't think the chopping off is a good idea because I can't afford to cut my hair. Anyway, that's the program for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you missed any part of the show, you can check it on our YouTube channel. You can also send your comments to the social media handles showing on your screen. I'm Victoria. You don't want to lie. See you next week. Stay positive.